All right. So there's that one win. This one right here. Um, Also there's something I want to go over. Let's see. Um, anyway, so there was this win right here that was based off of an hourly buy rejection that just happened around market open. And that trade went straight to TP. Also, the 10.1 went to TP, but when I entered the 10.1, because the 10-point entry was at 242, 252. So the 10-point entry was at 252, but I got slipped. The 10-point entry happened. I don't know how I got slipped. I think I got slipped and entered down here. So unfortunately for the 200-point entry, I think I got slipped on one of this trade and got filled in here. But unfortunately for the 200, I'm sorry, for the 10-point entry, I got taken out, but that's the account I'm using to track. But for the regular official trade, took this trade at the crossover right here, went to TP. And this was, I marked it up during market open. And let's see. So this particular one, um, give me a moment. So this particular one here for today, this is 0.75, somewhere like that. Okay. There's something I wanted to go over, and I think I noticed I saw this in somebody, one of the trading, I don't want to call them influencers, but he was talking about he likes to focus on pre-market highs and pre-market lows. And when I tested this out, I think I saw this when today is Wednesday. I saw this on Friday, right? And Monday, the pre-market entry hit. Yesterday, the pre-market entry hit, and today the pre-market entry has hit. But the idea is that, and this one I'll also look at it going forward. So the idea here is that you look at the pre-market level. So ideally, the pre-market highs before New York Open, pre-market lows before New York Open. So that's why I have these blue lines here. So I'd already marked this up. So this one right here was the pre-market high. And this one down here is the pre-market low, right? Since New York opened yesterday. So you can see when price got to this pre-market high, we had that rejection. Also, literally at the pre-market high, we had that uh, hourly SCR rejection. So that's also why there was another confluence for that sell we took here at the top here. But yeah, going forward, it's also nice to pay attention to those pre-market levels. And we can kind of try and look at them. Give me one moment here. We can kind of try and look at them like from Monday, just from Monday to today, right? And kind of get an idea of the pre-market highs and lows. Again, this is just something I saw from one of those traders who normally have like paid adverts on IG, I think. So if we look at Monday, 9, so for Monday. So Monday pre-market low was Monday pre-market low was here. Pre-market low was there, and then pre-market high was here. Pre-market high was this one, I think. Yeah, pre-market high was this. So you can see when price got to this pre-market high, we had that rejection, right? So we had a rejection entry there. And same thing, 366, 376. So this one you could have entered the 10-point entry, or you could have entered the 5-second entry, and it looks like so this one definitely hit it because I forgot to mark it up yesterday. And also the idea is that if you have a closure above the pre-market high or pre-market low, you expect price to go in that direction. But you can see here for Monday's pre-market high, if you took a rejection scalp there, it would have hit, right? And then we keep going to Tuesday. So Tuesday was yesterday. So yesterday also the pre-market, let me see. One of them hit. I forget which one it is. So on Tuesday, what am I looking for here? On Tuesday, so the market closure was somewhere here. So the pre-market high was here, was this one that's right there. So that's the pre-market high for Tuesday. And then pre-market low for Tuesday, which is yesterday, was here. I remember following this trade right here. Actually, I marked it up because pre-market low was here. Perfect. So you can see yesterday we came to the pre-market low, and same thing here. I remember marking up this trade. You could have done the 10 point. So the 10-point rejection was 136, 126 right there. Or you could have entered on the 5-second time frame, which would have given you a pretty almost a late entry. But you can see here price would have opened up in a gap during today's market. I'm sorry, during the new day's open, and you can see this one hit TP as well. So pre-market high hit. So on Monday, it's the pre-market high that hit. Yesterday, it's the pre-market low that hit. So that's the same idea, right? So you expect once price gets to that pre-market high or low to get some sort of rejection. And same thing. So if we look at today, the pre-market high was this one that I marked up here. And then the pre-market low was down here, right? So we are ideally closer to the pre-market high today. And what happened, right? Same thing here. You could have entered on the 10 points away from the pre-market high, 242. So this is even better because I think you have a chance to set a pending order before market open, right? Depending on how close or how far you are from price. But here, if you set that 242, 252.1, so you could have set a pending order, so 10 points above in order to avoid any manipulation. Go for a 1:2, right? Full TP right there. So pre-market high, pre-market entry for Monday hit, pre-market entry for Tuesday hit. And with this one, you don't need any indicator, right? But it's just something I saw from this one guy on Friday, and I was like, let me test it out. So actually, I think yesterday on Friday when I saw it, I went and tested it out the whole of last week, and it was pretty nice, pretty nice results. Um, so this is just another one to also forward test and see how it goes. So far this week alone, the pre-market high and low has not lost. Uh, anyway, so we'll just see if we get anything else for today. So at least for today, so far one trade um, for the 1:2 account, and unfortunately I got slipped out of that entry, which is so annoying. So the only thing with the 10-point entry is like you have to be so quick at entering it, and sometimes you might get slippage in your favor or even against you. So, but it is what it is. Um, 234. Let me see something. 208, 211, 208. 230. How did I get slipped out of this? 249. Okay. All right, so we'll see if we get another entry. Do we have an EMA entry? Not yet. If this 15-minute candle closes below, actually in 9 seconds, so this one will happen pretty fast as well. We have what time is it? We have a 15-minute EMA entry here. So there we go. So we need price to go 10 points above the EMA. So 10 points would be 187.2. So one, and price is dipping down heavily. Let me see. This one will happen pretty fast as well. US 30 rejection resistance. Mhm. Entry. All right, so we have an EMA entry that's pending here. There we go. What markups, order blocks do we have here? Okay, this is perfect. So what we need is 185. Let me make sure. EMA. Okay, so we just retested the 15-minute EMA. Not yet. We need to break past it. Okay, so we need 187.5, 197.5. But if let me add an alert here. If we get a crossover sell here, so we don't want price to reject from where it's at. So I don't need if I get a green X, I'll go ahead and cancel that sell because it will show a change of structure. So I need price to keep pushing up to this alert here on the 15 minute. So I need price to keep coming up. So we're in a red zone. Perfect. I need price to push up to that 10-point marker that I've put. And there it is. So I entered on my 10-point account. On my regular account, now I need a crossover sale. Geez. Uh, okay. Yep, there we go. So in my regular account, I'm looking for this crossover sale here to enter. I need the red X, and I think it closed, so I'm in that one as well. So the first trade, I'm in this trade. So this is the regular trade right here. And then I'm in the other trade. So this is just a 20-point stop loss, 20-point TP. And then in the other trade, I entered all the way up there. And I'm already at a 1:1 for this trade. So remember, I entered at the 10 point. So these are the two trades that I'm in right now. Um, right there. So let's see, almost at a 1:2. Just gotta lock in that. Perfect. So this trade, the official trade, hit full TP. The other one hit full TP as well. And we have another sell, man. We're having, oh my God, the other one is still going. We have a 15-minute sell. This is going so fast. We have another trade right here. This trade is at 152, 142. So if we get to 142, I'm taking a buy on US 30. What markups do we have? Okay. So I just gotta, man, this is so fast. So the 10 point has been met. I took that. I took that entry on the 10 point. And I think we're in the pre-market. No, that's not the pre-market low. So now I'm waiting for a crossover. So that's the initial trade that I took. Now I'm waiting for a crossover on my main account. So remember, we have another win here. And this is the SAR. So this particular one, I'm looking for something like this. Man, today would be a crazy day if it's 3 back-to-back wins. I think it's going to be on this. There's going to be this one. Uh, let's see if we get this one. We need a green X right there. Let's see if we get it. I need a green X. There it is. No, not yet, not yet. Almost there. If this closes, so there it is. So that's the trade right there. Running in profit. And let's see how this goes. And also, I mean, the other trade, I mean, the other buy somewhere down here. Man, this is crazy, crazy stuff. I think after this, I'll probably be done. It's like, it's just happening so, so fast. And see, come on, we need to push back up, hopefully. This might end up losing. It's a little bit too close to stop loss. It's a little bit too close to stop loss. And also, we remember, if you see here, we have a pre-market low. So I think price is coming for the pre-market low right here, and also coming for this weekly sell rejection area. But I mean, this positions as well. Let me see. Actually, never mind. I got stopped out on the official position. So this position, I think there was slippage. I got stopped out on this. So the only one I'm in is this particular one. Anyway, so let's see. So we had three trades so far. One, which was the market open win. Price retested EMA 2. Okay, so here is another one here. But price needs to 119.5. That one happened so fast. Let's see. Okay, so unfortunately, I got stopped out of the original official position. I am still in the 10-point position, but unfortunately, it doesn't count as an official trade. It's fine. We're just testing it. But this particular one in the middle here, I got stopped out. But the other one, I am in profit and I'm at like a 1:1.5. So this particular one, we had one winning trade. The second trade won, which was this one right here. And nice. And the third trade, unfortunately, personally, I got stopped out before this push back to the upside. And actually, you can see here, yeah. So even though you, I'm sorry, even though you didn't get slipped out of this trade, like you can see, you would have still gotten stopped out by this spike down. So still like up 0.75% for the day if you took each and every one of those three trades with me. This one is still running for me. 38, 30. Let's see if it. Yeah, I think this one had gotten a little slipped up to by price. And that's the only thing with some of these trades. Like, and there you go. I'm out of this trade as well. So yeah, today is an amazing day. And remember what I told you guys, like this 15-minute entries right here. I think right here it's only because it pushed down heavily. Now I'm almost certain that US 30 will spike all the way back up because I told you guys when you see this 15-minute, when you see this 15-minute rejection, SAR rejections that happen during market open, it kind of tells you that price is going to go all the way to the other side. But anyway, let me take screen grabs of these trades. This one, the EMA trade was such a nice trade. The EMA trade was at 42,189. Man, this is crazy. On my the account for the 10 point, if not for that original slippage, like in the beginning of the market, that would have been 12K because that account now just today is 5,800. Regular account, I think it's at break even if I'm uh no, regular account is up 2K. So yeah. But let me see. Let me take screen grabs of this 42,182. 42,182. So this is the EMA one that we took. And I think it was If only we had gotten this EMA2 entry. This one was nice as well here. But unfortunately, this EMA2 entry, price did not come down like 10 points away. But this one would have been a nice win as well for the EMA2 entry. This is rejection scalp. And then I go ahead and do this. Unfortunately, the third trade, we got stopped out. Would have been a nice win as well. Third trade got stopped out at what price? Got so 142.9. So this one was based off of the 15-minute 142.9. 142.9. There we go. And then we just do this, do this. Yeah, so you can see this trade, we just got stopped out, like, hit our stop loss and then came back all the way and would have been a nice win, but um, just gotta wait for the next one. But even with that, like even with what is it, 2 wins, 1 loss, I'm still up 1% for the day. All right. And then save this for my journal. Okay. And the other one is 58. All right. So save to photos. All right. Save to photos. Um, okay, so if we review the profits so far, if we go here, so you can see so this is just the main account, right? So the first trade that market open, the second trade that won the EMA sell, the third trade, this is the one, I think, what was it? SAR rejection that got stopped out and then price reversed back up. That happens, every now and then. I've considered increasing the stop loss and take profit because I've noticed that when I get stopped out of positions, like what people call stop hunting, it's like price goes against me by like 30 points or 25. But I think 2020 is a good enough one because if I do, sometimes it doesn't get to the 30 before reversing back. But anyway, so this is the main account today. So all these three trades we took on the live session. This one came up, first one came up at market open. Second one is this, I love this middle one that we just took, this EMA one. So that one was amazing. And then the third one, unfortunately, that's the one we got stopped out. So for the day up like 0.75. So if you're taking every trade with like 0.75 risk, right, you would be up 0.75. And then for the 10 points, so this is the first one is waiting for the confirmation on the 5-second time frame, right? Waiting for change of structure. But then the other account, this is the one that we said we'll be testing out, entering at the 10 point. So the first one, this literally, I think I was too slow to execute this trade because it should have been a winner, because this particular trade happened again during market open, and the entry was literally right here at 251. I think that was because it was the hourly sell rejection. So this trade was literally supposed to be this, and it would have won. But when I got into the position, I think I got at the close of this candle, and then this is what happened to me. So for the 10 point, entries, you have to be so fast. I'm also considering creating an EA for this, but like I would have to create, I don't know, I don't even know how I would do it, because I would have to make sure the EA considers all three confluences, considers the zones, considers the 10 point past, etc. But anyway, I'll think about it. It just feels like too much work. But anyway, so for that trade, so this unfortunately should have been a winner, but anyway, either way ended up being a loss. This is the same one we took with the EMAs, but for this account, took it at the 10 point entry. And then the last trade, took it at the 10 point entry. Now, if you can see, for the 10 point, the last trade, the 10 point entry won, but the 5-second entry loss. So that's why I say, like, if we look at it on the chart right here, you can see that the 10 point entry, perfect entry, like literally almost at the low. And then the 5-second entry, because on the 5-second, we always have to wait for this crossover. So for this green X's or red X's, right? So you can see on the 5-second, the distance between the 10 point entry and the 5-second confirmation entry was about 15 points, right? So the 10 point entry is always, and I've noticed this, has always been more, or has been profitable, but only if you do more than 1 hour. So the 10 point entry, do a 1:2 risk to reward, or 1:1.5. Don't set break even, just let it do whatever it's going to do. Overall, like, you will have double the profits you have. Like, if we even review what happened yesterday, pretty much the same amount of profits. I think at the end of the day yesterday, I had 428 on the main account and 3,888 on the 10 point account. Now, this 10 point account here, this late entry here, remember for the afternoon session, I trade between, and I'm still looking for entries, but we don't have anything yet. For the afternoon session, I trade between 1:30 to 3 p.m. So yesterday, literally at 2:59, I got this entry, 2:59 p.m. Now, the trade one, again, there's always going to be that back and forth. Sometimes the 5-second entry is going to win and the 10 point entry is going to lose. Sometimes the 10 point entry is going to win, like today, and the 5-second is going to lose. So yesterday at 2:59, I got an entry for an EMA and I took it. Now, the other thing that I noticed, so in the afternoon, of course, you have a lowering volatility, but I think also sometimes a red flag to show you that a 10 point entry is going to lose is if both of your entries are at the same price point. So you see, like today, both of the entries were separated by like 13 points, right? So the 10 point entry was at 42,128. The 5-second change of structure entry was 42,141. So about 13-point difference. So if we look at the profits from yesterday, this last trade, you'll see that the 5-second change of structure entry for the rejection scalp was at 42,248, but look at the one for the 10 point, 42,247. So if you have both of them at this, and most of the times that normally happens when there's consolidation or low volatility. So when that happens, just know that the 1:2 entry might hit stop loss and the 1:1 entry might hit take profit. Yeah, but anyway, so pretty solid. And this one again, just like yesterday, this one would have been, if this was a nice win, this would have been 8K, like a 12K day. So this is the beauty with the 10-point entry. Like it's it's pretty dope. Anyway, so let's see what else is there. I think I've recorded that for my journal. Um, So keep in mind, as we talked about during the beginning of the live session, watch out for, okay, and given this week's on US 30 is bound to push up. But keep in mind going forward, the pre-market highs, pre-market lows, like we went over the session before the session started. Those entries have hit this whole week. And again, it's just something I came across on Instagram from another trading person. But yeah, watch for pre-market highs and lows. So today's pre-market entry was or pre-market high. You had a rejection all the way to the bottom. We have this pre-market low here for the day. Yesterday's pre-market low got hit, like I think in the afternoon session, because I remember following it. So today's pre-market low is at 42,092 or 089. No, 092 area. So the idea is that if price comes back down there, you expect some sort of rejection. So maybe going forward, we might substitute the order block rejection scalp with the pre-market rejection scalp, because at least the pre-market highs and lows are nicely spaced out compared to the order blocks that sometimes are pretty close to each other. Yes, 30 rejection resistance 30. Let's see. Nah, no entry. Yeah, so again, pay the other one, like I mentioned, this 15-minute rejection, ICR rejections that happen during market open. Uh, based off of what I've noticed, price normally uses those areas to reverse to whatever direction. Yeah, so these 15-minute ones, they kind of show you where price is reversing from. We might have another EMA sell if we have this current 15-minute can. So currently, if we look at the EMAs, all these EMAs have been retested, which is why I'm not even considering them because we've already taken a win in one of the EMAs. But right now, you can see all EMAs, 15-minute EMA one, 30-minute EMA one, hourly EMA one, and 4-hour EMA one have a check mark next to them, right? So it just means all of those EMAs have been tested. So there's no need to take any trade here. The other one that I want to, with this pre-market highs and lows, and I can mark this up, pre-market high. And this is the pre-market low. Pre-market low. So the idea with this pre-market highs and lows is that the first time price gets to it, like we saw in the beginning of the live session, right? Probability is, I consider it similar to like a rejection scalp. Probability is that you will have some sort of rejection either to the upside or to the downside. But always make sure that you are in a supply zone if you're selling. Make sure you're in a demand zone if you're buying. Like literally, that's I think one of the most important. You can forget order blocks if you want, but make sure if you're selling, make sure you're in a red zone. Now, the other part to this is that if price say closes above this pre-market high, closes above, you probably expect some sort of retest and continuation above, right? So if price has already retested it, you watch for when price gets back there. I don't really like to trade break and continuations because in my experience, I almost always get faked out. So that's why I like trading rejections. But like right here, and we can observe what happens here. But yeah, this pre-market highs and lows, I think I will just um substitute them with the order block rejection scalps. So I'm still taking order block rejection scalps, but I think beginning next month I will stop doing that because it's not even closely profitable. to any of the other two EMAs. And most times the order block rejection scalps aligns with either the EMA or the SAR. So it's better to use order blocks as a confluence. Save this. All right, give me one moment here. Okay. So let's do the same thing we did yesterday, where we update the journal. All right, so let's update the 10-point entries and kind of just do the, actually I should have ran the simulation as is. So still no entries so far. Currently price is just in a back and forth. In 4 minutes, we can see if we'll take this EMA. The only thing here, so if I look at this trade, I really don't even feel like I want to take any buy here. You see this big wick at the, no, any sell, because you see this big wick at the top here. I'm sorry, at the bottom. And also on the other hand, we have big wicks at the top. So this trade, even if we get a sell entry, this can go either way. The only thing I like is that I think price is coming for the pre-market low to pick up liquidity and then go back up. So maybe we'll see. We'll see how that lines up. But here, if we go ahead and label this, so this first one was an SAR rejection scalp. I remember it was on the hourly time frame, and that's it. The second one was a 15-minute EMA rejection, EMA 1, 15-minute. This is 9 EMA. I know they'll need me to, yeah, I knew it. 42, 118, I think. No, actually, 42, 218.61. And this one, the last one, what was it? We were trading 15-minute SAR rejection, I think. Yes. 15 minutes. Was it? Actually, I was. In 2 minutes, we'll check out that EMA entry that's lining up. 15-minute SAR rejection scalp, and I'm pretty sure they'll make me do this. So 42, 112.59. So you can see for these 10-point entries, so far, this is 7,400 for the week. And this is the beauty with, like, with this rejection scalps, on average per week, like if you're taking every valid entry, you should be able to do like at least 5K for the week, I would say. But anyway, let's see if we go and do the simulator as you did yesterday, and we have like 2 more minutes before we go back and see the EMA. So the simulation, you can still see the simulation is still good, right? From a 200K account, between 500,000 gain, between 300, I think the lowest gain so far is 300. So between 300,000 to 500,000 gain over the next 500 trades. So that's telling me that if you keep trading the way you're trading over the next 500 trades with the same win rate, you will have between 300 to 500,000 in profit. So, account can grow from 200K to 700K. And you can see here for the next 1,000 trades, it's, from, you can build a 200K account to a $1 million account in like 1,000 trades, right? Regardless, if I keep simulating, you can see the account balance is the same. So I guess the takeaway is that with this particular one, you can 5x your account in actually wait. This is not even 5x. You can 5x your account in 500 trades, and then you can almost 8x your account or 7x your account in 1,000 trades. So if it's $20,000 account, you can get to 100K in X amount of trades. Anyway, so let's see what we get here. I think I want this candle to close above the 15-minute EMA, because look at this wick at the top. Because as much as we're in a supply zone here, if we sell, like we would be selling against this heavy buying pressure. So I'm actually glad we did not close below this 15-minute EMA, because I still think US 30 is going to push up. And this looks similar to the price action of yesterday. If you guys remember, when we were trading yesterday, remember when we took that one loss, I think it was a retest of the 9 EMA, and then price stopped us out and then continued back up to the upside. And this was yesterday, 13th, somewhere. Yeah, here. So remember yesterday, I think we took a trade. We took a trade here, and it was a retest of the 9 EMA on the hourly, and then it was a buy. Price stopped, and one of the reason I liked the buy is because of this week's at the bottom. Price stopped us out on that trade, and then price shot all the way up, right? So if we look at what price is doing right here, almost same thing, literally the same thing, which is why in any case, I would want to take a buy here. But unfortunately, the 9 EMA has already been retested. So yeah, I would want to take a buy here instead of a sell. But we'll see how price comes in. So I think the only one of the reasons why price might be trying to go back down is to go back to the pre-market low. Um, yeah. So for these simulations, I mean, yeah, this it just makes sense for me to either have the one account going to one account doing the 5 second change of structure entry, and the other account just doing the what is it? Doing the 10-point impulse entry with a 1:2. Because none of the other strategies I've ever traded, not the levels rejection, not the manipulation strategy. Not, I mean, I have all these setups, right? I have how many setups? Over time, I think I've had all of this, right? Trendline plus SAR rejection was my most profitable strategy last year, but the profitability was nowhere close. I think the profitability of the trendline and SAR rejection strategy was I made in a year what the SAR rejection or what the rejection scalps are making in like a month or something. So I think I made in a year or something like that. Anyway, or in 2 months. Trendline SAR break. I don't like trading any break and continuation strategies. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how to trade them, but I have a terrible win rate with the SAR break strategies. Trendline markup rejection. Again, this one, uh, it wasn't as profitable. And by markup, I mean like order blocks or something. Rejection plus breakout. I thought this was going to be a very profitable strategy in the beginning of this year, but unfortunately it wasn't. SAR levels break. I don't like break and continuation strategies at all. I have a terrible win rate with them. SAR rejection scalp, EMA rejection scalp, and order block rejection scalp. Again, amazing win rate. Order SAR levels rejection. This is the one that beginning of this year when I did the statistics because I back tested and we haven't had a SAR levels rejection entry. Actually, we do have one right here, but only thing with this strategy is that you get like 8 trades a month, eight or so trades a month, which is but they are very highly profitable. But this year, I've had a terrible win rate with them, especially with gold. In the beginning of the year with US 30, they started off pretty profitably, but kind of spiraled into a downturn. So these are the ones we wait for an SAR level to be tested by the first candle, and then we set a pending order for the second candle. And these ones are intraday trades or sometimes swing trades. But yeah, they've ideally not been as profitable as they were last year. Order blocks. I haven't traded order blocks. Like, if you guys remember way back when we used to trade order blocks, we used to divide the order block into two, enter at the high, the middle, and the low. I don't trade that anymore. Bullish structure. Bullish structure, this is one of the strategies you don't need an indicator for. You just look for and actually it has a pretty nice win rate and you don't need any indicators, but sometimes though just some sort of fake outs. I'm more of an indicator trader myself, so I don't really like naked charts. Fair value gap kills on high and low. I can't even remember this particular one. I just know it's like an ICT strategy, bearish structure. Inner demand. I remember we took this majority of last year, but the win rate again wasn't as good. The basic SAR. So this is the original SAR strategy that came up when I first discovered SARs, but again, it had not too good of a win rate. So this is why over time I have adjusted the SAR strategy to my own liking, and then manipulation, and then the others. But yes, so far, I think this one is pretty. I'm sorry, this rejection scalps are pretty neat. So what time is it? So it's 10:20. So I think once it gets to 10:30, I may call it a day on the live session. We are pretty much just ranging right now. And I really don't see too much. And yes, so we'll keep forward testing this pre-market highs and lows and just gather the statistics manually. And then what we'll do is that beginning of next month, I think, instead of doing the order block, because for this week, the pre-market entries, if we start from Monday, which was 12th May, this one, if you went for a 1:2, this one on just entering at the 10 point, this one would have been and we can mark it up actually since we got time. 365, so you'd have entered at 375.2, and you go for a 1:2 risk to reward. So this one would have been like a four. If you're using this on a 200K account, this would have been 4,000. 4,000, which is the next one? Shoot. See, this is 12th. This is market open. So this is pre-market high. And this was wait. This was pre-market high for the 13th. So this one was yesterday, right? Yeah. And then pre-market low. And this one again, if you went for a 1:2, your entry would have been here. So this one, 133. And again, this is another strategy that doesn't need any indicators, right? So just mark up the pre-market highs and lows. Wait for price to manipulate 10 points past the high or low, but just make sure you're in a supply zone and make sure you're in a demand zone if you're selling. no, make sure you're in a supply zone. If you're selling, make sure you're in a demand zone when you're buying. Again, this one going for a 1:2 again on a 200K account, 4,000. So 4,000 on Monday, 4,000 on Tuesday. Today would have been 4,000 as well, because again here we started off at the pre-market high. So this particular one here, 10 points, 242, 252. Again, same thing here. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen like this every day. There are definitely days where price will literally spike past your profit, or I'm sorry, past your stop loss. But you can see this particular one, if you'd taken, and I wish I'd learned about this before, but anyway, which is why we are back to, sorry, forward testing from now. But if you would have taken this from now and you're risking 1% per account, so this would have been a 2% gain, 2%, 2%. So you'd have made 6% in 6% in 3 days. So I think that's good enough for the even for the days that you get manipulated against, like you'd have like a 6% buffer for price to, oh, I'm sorry, 6% buffer for any potential losses in the future. But it's pretty neat to watch it. This pre-market highs and lows. But I would not, same thing that I normally say on the guy I saw this from. Again, I didn't go too much into it. I just heard him say that he waits for price to come to pre-market highs and lows. I don't know his risk to rewards. I don't know his win rate, but the only thing that I will say is that personally, even for the SARs or EMAs, I don't trade an EMA that has been retested before. I don't trade an SAR that has been retested before. You want to go for the first retest because I believe that has the highest probability compared to an EMA, an SAR, a pre-market high or low that has already been retested in the past. Yesterday, let's see. Okay, so gold, remember yesterday when we talked about there is this gold SAR levels rejection entry that is ongoing. Excuse me. You would, however, have needed a 50, no, no, 150, $125 TP and stop loss for gold. Um, but yeah, for me, the maximum TP and stop loss I like for gold is 50 dollars. But anyway, either way, this trade would be in drawdown. We do have another rejection that's down here, which is the weekly sell. So maybe this might be a better entry to buy gold from. This one at 31,151. Only issue here is that we have an order block that's in the a bearish order block that's in the direction of your between your stop loss and take profit. So even for this particular trade, it's not the best setup. But yeah, so this trade would unfortunately be currently in drawdown. And again, I haven't traded this SAR levels rejection in a minute. 30. And let's just see if we get anything else. I really don't see anything much happening unless there's any sort of news later on. But yeah, so today I think this might just be it. But today was such an amazing trading session. We had like at least 3 back-to-back trades that were pretty nice. Mm. All right, so it's 10:30. Mm, let's see how this one goes once it gets to that area. I'm just curious to see. I'm interested to see a break and continuation. Like I want to see how the break and continuation would go for this one. And you saw that 15 minute, right? The 15-minute SAR. So remember what I mentioned before? This 15-minute SAR rejections that happen during market open. Price normally, based off of what I've seen, price normally rejects from them. And um maybe there is a way to, you see, like the way we were, because the win I took on the 10-point entry, but unfortunately we got stopped out on the 5-second entry. If we go back, that entry was somewhere, I don't think it was this one. No, it was here, right here. So for some of this trades, so you can see the 10-point one would have been here, right? So some of this, if you go over the logic, or if you go with the logic that once a 15-minute EMA is printed, most likely price will reverse back to the downside. I'm sorry, to the upside heavily. You can swing it for maybe 100 points, something like that. But again, keep in mind, it doesn't happen every time. There are times when price will keep going and it will close past that 15-minute SAR that is printed during market open. But I've noticed that when 15, like honestly, I don't even like seeing 15-minute entries getting printed anywhere close to market open, because if they're printed anywhere close to market open, when market opens, pretty much there's no 15-minute one that's going to be printed almost immediately. But if I see like for example today, I think the 15-minute had been printed way before market open, and then during market open, when we had that deep push to the downside, it got printed down here. So this is maybe some of the ones you can just kind of swing trade, not even swing trade, intraday trade, and just hold it. But again, just as a disclaimer, it doesn't happen every time. Their time price is going to keep going past that EMA and it won't reject from there. So you just have to make sure that you are aware of that. But yeah, this 15-minute ones, and the beauty of it is that now, if another 15-minute forms anywhere here, you now expect price to then come back to the downside, and you can ride that pretty much all the way down. But it does take a lot of forward testing, and you have to open yourself to possibilities of losses. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, using. So this pre-market high is kind of still holding. We also have this hourly rejection, which is what we took the first win of the live session on. But yeah, looks like that pre-market is kind of still holding. I would not double dip into it, but again, you don't have to trade exactly like I do. But I would say if you attempt to double dip into it, just make sure that you assign the risk as needed. Mm. Oh, mm, wow. Mm. All right. What time is it? So I'll stick around till 10:45, so which is in like 6 minutes, and we'll see if we get anything before then. And now that we if we do get a closure, let's see, in those 4 minutes before below this 15-minute EMA, I think it would be a nice sell. The reason I'm saying that is we've already retested the pre-market high again, and looks like price has come back down heavily from it. So as much as we have this long wicks from the bottom, if we do close below the 15-minute EMA one, it might be, or it should be another opportunity to take take a sell entry there. So let's just wait for those 3 minutes or so. All right, 10 seconds. If it does happen again, this will happen so fast. Let's see. I really didn't miss this fast life with scalp. I did not miss the fast life with scalping because okay. So 10 points will be 193, 203. So price, okay, so it's already retested the EMA, but we need to touch the 10-point marker first before. So same thing here. I don't want to see any crossover. What don't I want to see? So I don't want to see a crossover sell. So the only way we can get a crossover sell is if we get a crossover buy first. So we already in a selling, we already have a sell momentum going on. So the only way here is, so we've already retested the EMA, but we don't want to see continuous push to the downside. So at first here, it should give a crossover buy. And then if it gives a crossover buy, but this push is pretty heavy already. Let's see, 95. Yeah. So we're already in like heavy selling pressure already. So we need a crossover buy and then we need price to touch this area first. So we need price to come here. So that will be my 10-point entry. And then, of course, on the way back down, looking for that crossover sell. So you can see what I mentioned earlier, right? We already retested the pre-market high again, and we have a closure below it, and we have a closure below this 15-minute EMA. So yeah, I think where price is getting attracted to currently is this pre-market low. So they haven't tested the pre-market low, and we are like what? We are like 70 points, 80 points away from it. So it's actually not that far. So if any rejection is to happen, if any meaningful rejection back to the upside is to happen, I think somewhere around there. But for this trade, let me see. So I need a crossover buy first. So we need that green X to form. And then if the green X forms and then the red X forms before price touching this 10 points right here, then that will be it for that trade. I wouldn't even be looking to take it anymore. So there's the green X, right? So right now I don't want to see a red X. If the red X forms, I'll just cancel this. Okay, there's the red X. So at this point, price is just back and forth in a consolidation because we always want the red X or the green X to form after the 10-point marker has been met. So you always want for price to go to the 10-point marker is always the first one you want. You don't want any opposing um crossover buys or sell to form first. So the 10-point marker is always your first confluence. That is always. So at this point, it wasn't the first confluence. So price gave us this reversal back to the upside based off of this crossover buy, but immediately thereafter gave us this crossover sell. So at this point, I go ahead and delete this. And I just call it a day. So far good profits for the day and week so far. So no need um, to force anything. It's already 10:48. Let me stick around for just a little more than because we're almost at 11 and 11 is the end of my morning trading session. But yeah, if you literally do like this is literally all I do. Like I just wait between 9:30 to 11. If something validates, I take it. If it doesn't, like it just invalidated right now, I just skip it and then wait for the next one. And if you do that, you should be golden and have the same results as I do. Because I really don't take anything that is not on the screen or anything that is invalid. Save as report. Um, no, I'll deal with this later. The only way we can get an entry here is if we get an SAR entry because we are not going to get an EMA entry because by the time this 30-minute, because we already had a 15-minute closure, by the time the next 15-minute closure is going, it's going to be literally at 11. So I'm not taking any trade that validates at 11. The only trade we can have here is maybe an order block trade, but even today we were far away from the order blocks. So um yeah, we were far away from the order blocks. Maybe I should turn that back in here. maybe something like this. So the only entry we can get here is an SAR rejection. But I don't see, we've already formed a 15. So even just thinking about it logically, we've already formed a 15-minute SAR rejection. We've already formed a 30-minute one in and around market open. So the probability of us forming that, like right now, unless we get a big spike in price, the probability of that is pretty low. So honestly, I don't see anything else here to take. All right. 3 more minutes, based off of where we are. 150. So we had already retested this hourly sell SAR, unfortunately, during this push up. So there's nothing really here. If you want to test out this pre-market low, I think we'll get there later on in the day. But if you want to test it out, you can go ahead and put a pending order at, or just like a 0.01 just to observe it, right? At 42083.1, 42083.1 somewhere. Just something to observe how it will go. Because again, we'll just be forward testing this ones as well. And we can start catching them maybe next month. So 42083, I think. 083. No, is it 083? Yeah, 42083. Yeah. So you can do like a 0.1, 0.01 just to observe. So you do like a 20-point stop loss, 40-point TP. So the idea is that it, whatever happened here yesterday, literally yesterday at this pre-market low where price comes in, grabs your entry and then goes back up. Maybe that's what's going to happen. And one thing that I've forgotten to check is the zones. So actually, never mind. This pre-market low is not in a demand zone. So forget about it because we always want to make sure that if we're selling. So for this particular one, actually, I think if price gets to this pre-market low, we'll break down to the downside because we don't have any demand that I can see here if we turn on our zones indicator. So price is actually coming from a high level of supply and the demand level ends, pretty much far above the 42080 83 area. So actually, yeah, forget about that particular trade. I don't see there's no need to go ahead and do it. This other one made sense. The sell at the top for the pre-market high made sense because you can see we were in a supply zone. But this one right here, we are in no man's land. So actually, US 30 might dip if we get to that level. But anyway, it's 11 a.m. And that's the end of today's live session. It's also the end of my morning trading session, and I'll be again back in the afternoon. And again, right, I did these numbers for you guys. If and you don't have to trade both sessions, right? You can just trade the morning session, and you can see even while trading the morning session, whether it's with the, especially the 10-point entry, right? Yesterday, the morning session was 5,800, right? Today, the morning session, today, the morning session, 5,800 as well. So that's like what, 11? No, 12,000, right, in 2 days. It doesn't mean that every day it will be 58. There are days that will have back-to-back losses. But right, you kind of just see the vision with a higher risk to reward and a high win rate, like overall, like you should be able to be profitable. And for some of you guys who have like maybe specific weekly goals or monthly goals, like I'm pretty sure 12,000 in 2 days would meet your either weekly or monthly goal, and then you can do whatever you want for the rest of the month and come back next month. But anyway, so for me, always I trade 9:30 to 11 a.m. Eastern time and 1:30 to 3 p.m. Eastern time. And I take each and every single valid entry, regardless whether I'm already in profit, regardless whether I'm already in loss. The only the only way I'll maybe stop trading is if I've had about three back-to-back losses because I risk 1% for each of my trades. So what that means is, and we just established a 30-minute. So this is the 30-minute that I was waiting, this rejection scalp right here for the 30-minute SAR, but it's already past 11, right? But anybody who's interested, I can mark it up for you guys. So 114.9. So this would be your entry. So you'd enter a buy right there. But I'm not entering it because it's already past my time, but that's your entry. I wish this had come before 11. This is what I was waiting for, but that would be your entry. But the reason I stop at 11 is that sometimes price starts consolidating, or price starts just going directional at 11, and we have another SAR established on the hourly. And you can see, right, we just touched that pre-market low, and this actually, that push down has wiped out demand, right? We've wiped out, and this one, you can see this one would have lost, right? That so this is an example of what is it called? It's an example of how the 10 point would have lost, because for the 5 second, anybody who's entering on the 5 second, they would not be in this trade just as of yet, right? So, and let's see, and you can see this push down has wiped out that demand. So remember what I mentioned when we had this. If we replay this, remember what I'd mentioned about this pre-market low? It was in an area of no man's land, right? So if we turn on the zones, this pre-market low, you can see here, we are we don't have any supply or demand area, right? And I said, actually, if price actually gets there, we are probably going to sink to the downside, right? And see what's happening. Because ideally we don't have any level of demand. We don't have like the same rejection as we did here. And here yesterday we had a heavy demand presence here, but right now we do not have anything of the sort. So, and you can see that push, continuous push to the downside at that pre-market low. And same thing here, right? You can see for this entry, an entry on this particular one. And again, this is why I like having specific times to trade in the market. So this particular one, the 10 point would have failed, right? But the 5 second, somebody who's waiting for the crossover on the 5 second would still be waiting on that particular trade. Now, I don't think even for the 5 second, if we were trading this, if we were actually trading this, I don't think it would be a good idea to take it, because you can see, well, actually, right now we're in a green zone. So actually, never mind. We found a new area of demand. So let's see what happens if we do find that. Again, this is just a markup. Mm, mm. But I want to see. Okay. So I'm not taking any of this. So this is just marking up, right? But anybody who's waiting on the 5 second, so keep in mind here, on the 5 second, you're waiting for this crossover buy, like and you can see the distance. So this is what I'm mentioning. There are times when entering on the 10 point rejection, price will go straight to your stop loss, right? And this is the reason why you need to go for a 1:2 risk to reward, in order to compensate for the times where this will happen to you. Mm, mm, mm. So somebody again who would be waiting for the 5 second, they still wouldn't be in the trade, would still be waiting. And you can see the distance. So 105 up here, all the way, almost 100 point difference in the entry. So I think maybe it would be this one, right? So let's see whether for this particular one, which one would have lost and which one would have won. So the entry would be there at the close of that candle. And this might be that instance where both entries lose, or maybe just one loses and the other wins. So let's see how this one would end up. And I'm glad this actually happened after 11, because if it happened before 11, I think I would have taken that 30-minute. Yeah, I would have taken this 30-minute rejection sell. So, I would have taken it on the 10 point account, and then I would have taken it on my regular account for the 5-second confirmation, which this would be the entry for. Oh, might have a SCR levels rejection here. No. Okay. So yeah, if this had happened on the oh before 11, we would have taken, or I would have taken one loss for the 10-point entry. But on my official accounts and an official trade would have taken this win. But anyway, I didn't take any of these trades because they happened after 11. But you can see the difference here, right? So this one was a 10-point impulse entry, because this one you'd have taken it when that 30-minute printed, you'd have taken it at 42,104, right? But you can see at 42,104, when you entered there, price would have kept going heavily against you and you'd have hit stop loss, right? But then if, let's say if it happened before 11, would have waited would personally, I would have just taken this on my 10-point account, but on my main account, regular trading account, would have waited for this confirmation and would have gotten a better entry and would have gone to TP, right? So this goes to show, I think between yesterday and today, we've seen a lot of examples where it doesn't mean that the 10.1 has a higher win rate. It has pretty much the same win rate as waiting for the confirmation on the 5-second. The difference comes in the overall return over time. Like waiting for the confirmation on the 5-second, I'm always a big advocate of waiting for confirmation, because if you don't wait for confirmation and start trading on impulse, and you're not there yet as a trader who knows how to manage, who knows how to manage risk, who knows how to have a instant TP and stop loss, sometimes you might kind of, go into bad trading habits, such as removing a stop loss or take profit or revenge trading, right? But what I want to show you guys is the win rate. That's why I show you guys my journal, like showing you guys the win rate, so that whenever it is that we do take a loss, like we know that yes, we have a 70% win rate. And then we know that what that means is that out of 10 trades, 3 trades are going to lose most likely. But then remember that out of also those 10 trades, 7 trades are going to win. So in an instance where maybe let's us, and this is going to happen to us during the live session, right? Or even during official trading hours, where and even next month when maybe I start just going for this impulse 1:2 entry and entering at the 10 point. There are times when we'll enter and price goes straight into stop loss, right? And you just need to be know yourself as a trader and just know that, hey, that is just the 3 out of 10 times, and then you wait for this other 7 out of 10 times. You maintain your trading hours, etc., and you should be golden for that. But then again, same thing, right? There are times that the 5 second confirmation change of structure entry, it doesn't mean that it's immune. It doesn't mean that waiting for confirmation is better. No, there are times that the 5 second is going to lose and the 10 point is going to win. We literally saw that during the live session today in one of the losses that we took. The 10 point entry went to full TP, but the 5 second confirmation went straight into stop loss. So there are times when both of them will lose. There are times when one of the other will lose. And it's just how, it's just what we need to look up going forward. The only thing so far that I can tell that when the 10 point loses and the 5 second change of structure wins is when, and not every time, but it's when both of the entries are at the same point. Literally what I showed you guys with my entry yesterday, later on in the afternoon, where both the entries were at the same level because of consolidation in price. Like when I entered the 10 point, price started consolidating, and when I got the crossover, it was literally at the same entry point. So that is so far one of the causes I've seen where the 10 point will lose and the 5 second change of structure will win. For the 5 second change of structure losing and the other one winning, that happened like today. So that will happen if let me show you guys. That will happen if, and I don't know if we can revisit that, but that will happen when we have a push in price. Okay, so for example here, so let's assume, let's just take this as an example. Of course, this wasn't an actual trade, but let's assume we had a 10 point entry here, right? Let's assume we had a 10 point entry here and we had this strong impulse to the upside, right? And then let's assume, and we have this crossover. So this crossover was entered right there. So normally when we have a impulse like that, you normally expect, and I know this one again, it went straight up, but let's assume here when we had this impulse, sometimes what I've noticed is that after we get that crossover, buy or sell, you normally have some sort of consolidation in price or retracement, and then price takes us out and goes back up. Like that's literally what happened earlier on today in that 15-minute sell SAR entry. So the times, what I've noticed when the 5 second change of structure will lose and the 10 point will win is when you have a big impulse after the 10 points, because that means that your 5 second change of structure will happen maybe like 15 points, 20 points away from that 10 point area. But yeah, so we'll keep doing this and just reviewing it going forward and just journaling and making changes where needed. But so far, I feel pretty nice with where we are right now. But anyway, so of course none of those two were taken, and we've closed below the pre-market low so far. So just observe this for your own notes going forward, right? So for your own notes going forward, since we closed below the pre-market low, is it possible that maybe price will do that and do this? Maybe. So let's just observe what happens, and then tomorrow during the live session, we'll kind of review this. So I know I'd said that we'll have live sessions for the rest of the week. We'll have a live session tomorrow, but on Friday we won't have a live session. So tomorrow will be the last live session of the week. But other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow.